Segment EF has endpoints E 7, 5 and F 2, -4. What are the coordinates of its midpoint M? The formula we learned was to take the average of the x's and the average of the y's. So let's remember, on point E we always start with the x and then the y, and then point F as well, the x and then the y. So let's plug in our values in our equation, and that would give us 7 plus 2 over 2 for the average of the x points, and then 5 plus -4 divided by 2 for the average of the y's, which would give us 9 over 2, 1/2, or if we put that in decimal form, 4.5, 0.5. So point M, the midpoint, would be located at 4.5 for the x, and you go up 1/2, 0.5 on the y-axis. Now we're trying to find an endpoint when the other endpoint and the midpoint are given. The midpoint of segment CD is point M at -2, 1, and one endpoint C is -5, 7. We're trying to find the coordinate of the other endpoint D. So let's look at our formula again. To find the midpoint, we take the average of the x and the average of the y's. So let's plug in the information that we have. We have the midpoint, -2, 1, and then we've plugged in point C. So now let's solve for the x and the y. We'll start with the x right over here. So our x is -2 is equal to -5 plus our second x divided by 2. So let's multiply each side of the equal sign by 2, and that would give us -4 is equal to -5 plus our second x. We would add 5 to both sides of the equal sign, and that would give us 1 is equal to our x. Now on this side, let's solve for the y. 1 is equal to 7 plus our second y divided by 2. Now let's multiply each side of the equal sign again by 2 to get rid of it. So we would get 2 is equal to 7 plus our second y, and subtract 7 to both sides of the equal sign. So we get -5 is equal to the second y. So our coordinate, our x is 1 and our y is -5. And that would be the coordinate of point D. So 1 and -5 is located right here, and that would be our second endpoint D.